gorgeous. It is Lovegodesss podcast, and we are recording another episode of a Lovegodesss podcast today. Today's a juicy subject. I want to share my thoughts with you on monogamy and polygamy and what I think about it and what I choose. Again, it is one of those subjects where you are free and towards your opinion. Like, you can decide for yourself what you want to stick to, what you want to do, how you want to do your life. Again, my life is different from your life, and you make decisions for your life that works for you. And I came across multiple dynamics within a couple, and the thing that I have learned from all of those experiences is that you cannot brush everything under one oh gosh, I can't even remember of the saying, right? Like, you can't brush, like, you can't treat everything the same, right? It is really the dynamics that work for you, and there are different dynamics and different relationships within the couple, and like, relationships is one of those subjects. Like, there is like this kind of idea of like, hey, there's a marriage, like, especially if you were born and raised in a Christian environment, you know, you are supposed to be monogamous with your husband. You cannot sleep with them before marriage, and you have to follow the strict idea of what your relationship's supposed to look like. And then, you know, there are other people who can't do monogamy and are perfect and found themselves in polygamy, and they have relationships within marriage with multiple people. And so what works for one person will not work for another, and vice versa. And also, even within the polygamy, there are so many dynamics that will not work. And so relationship is a tricky waters because of all the emotions. Like, it's really custom. That's why a lot of people can't get relationships right, because there's no one fit all rule. It's very custom because each person is custom, and each person has their unique set of insecurities, their unique set of ideas, their unique set of what things supposed to. And all of that came from their parenting, from the culture, from their background, from people they've interacted with. And so you can't really create this one rule and say, this is it. And like, this is what it's gonna work. This is what works, because what works for one couple and their dynamic is not going to work for another couple, simply because this person like wants to be monogamous. Like there's just so many little things that you really have to fit into. Like, you either accept it or not accept it, and you'll either happy with it or not happy with it. But you'll just like, the end goal is always joy, and feeling that you are getting what it is like that you are looking for from the relationship. Another thing that women are looking for, they think that, or men, they think that another person's going to be their second half, and that's part of the societal wording that we use, like, oh, go find your second half. Where's your second? Are you bringing your second half today too? And a lot of people's minds are twisted that they are not whole, and they need a second half to make them whole, right? So they're somehow broken until they have that second half, right? And so, and this is by no means truth, because each person is whole, and there's a whole lot of people out there living by themselves, with themselves, and perfectly happy. And they might mingle with other people, and they might form some relationships that are temporarily. Like, there's no fit all. Like, I believe that relationship is going to be with you for the amount of time that it's meant to teach you a lesson. Other people within the relationship are our mirrors, and whether we are talking about romantic relationships, whether we are talking about friendships, other people are our mirror to learn about themselves, and we are a whole person who's learning about who you are throughout your entire life. You are a whole person, and you do not need to have a second half to finish, to complete you, right? That's a false statement and false understanding. Now, with that understanding, when we go into monogamy and polygamy, again, these are just the power dynamics and relationship dynamics, that there is no right or wrong, truth or non-truth. And the same people who are looking for the same by the law of attraction will be attracted to each other. If a person, it's just the law of fucking attraction that we all know about but never don't like even use it, right? And so if you are a monogamous mindset and you want to have a monogamous relationship, most likely you will start energetically attracting people who are looking for the same, right? If you are polygamist and you coming from that energy of being able to have the freedom to date other people and have sex with other people and have you will start attracting people who are into that, and so your dynamic will work for you and their dynamic will work for them, right? So there is no like, I have chosen what fits for me based on what I want out of my life and what I want out of my relationship. Same for my husband. However, I'm not by no means saying that this is the right way and the only way. I'm saying that you do you, and decide what relationship dynamic fits your liking the best. And so I've never been polygamous, right? So I always came from monogamous relationship, and that was my upbringing, and that what I was culturally was wanting, and I've attracted a man who is on the same mindset. We are within the mindset that we're gonna stick together, and I truly hope that does happen. However, you know, I'm seeing other, like, when we get married, like we want to stay together until death do us part, right? And so but then, like, divorce rate shows us otherwise, that that's not necessarily works out the same way, right? So I truly hope that this continues and we love each other just like we do, and I do believe my husband is my soulmate, like on a deeper level, and we've had past lives together, which I've learned about. And so it is our intention to stay together through the old years, right? Now, I, in my relationship, do not want to be polygamous. First of all, we have amazing sex at home. I don't need another sex. But what I do enjoy is being a love goddess and seducing other male audience for me. And it's just like feeds my ego. I love doing that for the fun of it. And why the fuck not? Because I love sexual tension, and that actually spices my own relationship at home. And I bring that energy, and it makes my sex even better. Like, I'm not seeking sex from another person, right? But I seek attention. I like attention. I enjoy being desired. I enjoy being worshipped. So that's kind of my kink here, right? And so coming from that place, I seek being special for that one person. So I seek being the one for that one person. And so does my husband. He seeks to be the one for me. Yes, I play with other guys and I enjoy, but like in the end, Like, my husband is my knight, and I want to come home to him, and I want to make love to him, and like, he's my very special person, right? And so I want to continue keeping that dynamic. And then, yes, I play with other people on a different level, like non-sexual level, or I create sexual tension with other people and I leave them hanging because I'm a teaser and I'm a freak like that, right? So I that's what I do, right? Like, but it spices my marriage up, and I enjoy doing that. And I can't blame the other person enjoys doing that. Who doesn't want to be seduced? Hello. Everyone wants to be seduced. It's a game, right? It's a game. And I'm not seeking sexual satisfaction from that person. So, but that keeps me happy, and my husband, like, I bring that energy back home, and it keeps, my marriage spicy. So, with as far as other people, like, I can't even imagine, like, with my desire for being the special woman for my husband, like, I cannot even stomach the idea of him going and dating other women. Like, no and no and no, right? And so it was uncomfortable for him to, like, when I started exploring BDSM, until he, like, truly understood what that is. It was kind of hard for him to come to terms. And as the more he learned, the more we kind of, like, became, like, found where we fit in into this. But yet again, like, there's lots of hard limits, and there is a lot of communication, honesty, trust that has to happen between the two of us. And same in polydynamics. And I've heard stories where the trust was broken, right? And consent was broken. And so that is traumatic. And so, but you really, and like, I've had clients who came to me and said, hey, I want to experiment swinging with other couples. And I was like, swinging is one thing. It is when you start developing feelings for those other couples, like, you putting yourself at risk. Are you ready for this? Because when you start introducing other people, you start introducing other human elements. And yes, there's emotions and there are connections. And, like, first of all, you have to do it as a couple, in my opinion. That could be a podcast episode for another time. But when you start introducing other people, you start introducing emotions, you start introducing other people's stuff, and it does complicate the relationship, right? It's much easier when it's just the two of you, because you kind of get comfortable with, and you, like, fit into each other's lives a certain way. But when you start introducing one, two, or, like, more people into your lives, then you have to take their likes into consideration, and there's also more possibility for conflict and more possibility for things not going how you want it to go. So again, it's like, it's people's choice, and they want to do in their lives from whatever way they want to live their life. And if they want to explore more people and more relationships and relationship with other people, because yes, just like this one person makes you feel this way, another person makes you feel a completely different way, and it's your reflection of your own self. And really, the reason why a lot of people would pursue polygamy is not for the sex portion of it, that's swinging, but for the for how they make you feel, right? Like, I had a very short period of time where I almost, like, started developing feelings for someone I started playing with in the BDSM world. There was nothing sexual, but there's a lot of, like, tension, romantic tension that started developing, and then it ended abruptly. And then I went through the whole breakup thing while being married, and my husband supported me through all of this. It's a story for another time. I'm so blessed to have such a supportive, understanding husband. However, I think we kind of more or less decided that I felt that, it's better to not even go that route altogether. And while for a very short period of time, I enjoyed that other person's attention, how he made me feel so innocent, like I was a little child again. Like I've never had that feeling from anyone else, and that's why I fell in love with the feeling of it, right? So it's so interesting how and the reason why you would fall in love with another person is because you start feeling a certain way with them when they're around. They start make you feel differently. But by myself, like I am the only girl in my husband's life, like no and no and no, right? And so and sometimes I also have to put myself in his shoes and think, oh shit, like, I'm requiring him to stay monogamous, but like I go and do the games. And thank goodness he was okay with that. But again, like as you introduce another person into your love dynamic or relationship dynamic, there is a lot of things that can go sour, right? And like if you are ready for this journey, great, good props to you. Like for me, I choose to be special for this one person. I also want that person to feel special as part of our relationship together. And, I'm still like flirting and seducing other guys, but I'm a teaser, right? So that's my dynamic. And I already shared with you earlier in this video that, when I tease, like my end goal is not to have sex with that person. It's like, it feeds my ego. It makes me feel kind of like, hey, I still got it. Hey, still can't do that. Like it makes me feel like that femme fatale that I don't know. Like that's my kink, right? Like I can't explain why certain people have their kink and like other people have like, I'm a teaser, right? I like to do that. And I get high on the fact that like, hey, I'm really happy that I have created sexual tension with you and now you want me, but that's it. That's where we're gonna end and bye, right? And it's like, and that's literally all I like, that's it, right? Where another person may not have that kink. So yeah, I'm sharing all of that with you because if you are here in the Love Goddess community, most likely you enjoy other people's attention from guys, and you might be considering any additional options, especially if you might not be happy in your relationship. So maybe that is the answer for both of you. And again, every dynamic is so custom, and you really have to take into consideration and sit down with that other person and discuss what are things they're looking for, what are things you're looking for, how can you both fulfill on it. Like for me, being special for that person is important, and for him being special for me was super important. So those are our non-negotiables. That's why we are monogamous. We're not poly. So but yeah, this is where I stand in my own relationship. But like I said, each dynamic is custom. You decide for yourself if you are ready to share, which I am not ready to share. Then you can experiment, right? But like if you're like me and who's not ready to share, but still want to have certain flirt with other guys, like you should be allowed to, right? Like you and then what you're gonna do, you like create that sexual tension and then you bring it back home, and like both of you gonna enjoy that. That's pretty much the only reason why my husband allowed me to play with this other guy that I started developing feelings with, was that I took that sexual tension that I've created there, brought it home. We had amazing sex, right? But it was a little too far, so probably not gonna go there again. And yes, monogamous is definitely the way to go for me. But you decide for yourself. Make sure you consider all the risks that you are getting yourself into when you start introducing other people into your relationship.